Let's go.
Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to Secret to Success episode 9. And today there was little trouble, that's why we are late by 10 minutes. Anyway, so today I have with me Tanmay Srinath, one of my friends who is known for his Chess India articles. I know him for his expertise in engines knowledge, and also he's a correspondence player and also a software engineer. It is a great pleasure to have you on the show, Tanmay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Karthik. Thanks for inviting
Thank
me.
you, Karthik. Thanks for
You've been doing
inviting
a
me
fantastic job in the previous stream, so very happy to be here.
So first of all, I ask this question for all the viewers, especially Secret to Success series. So how did you start chess, and at what age did you start chess?
No, I learned the rules of the game at the age of 5 or 6. I am not sure what exact age, but I learned it then. And my father taught me the rules of the game because my mother did not know the rules, but she wanted me to learn the game. I did not take it seriously until I was 12 or 13 when I first beat my father in the game. So then I started to do a little bit of training, went to a local coach, and I got my rating in 2015. But after that, my studies got in the way of further progress. So I have been with I am Shivananda since 2015, and I would like to credit him for whatever I am in chess today. It is because of him. Him and recently in my articles, I think you can see that Sagar has also played a very important role. So Shivananda sir and Sagar Shah, you can say, are two of my biggest mentors in the chess world today.
Yeah, and before moving forward, if someone from the audience can confirm if you can hear us properly, it would be great. So anyway, so let's start with your correspondence chess, which is what I am most intrigued about. So when did first of all, I would like you to explain what is correspondence chess and how is it played for unknown players.
Yeah, so correspondence chess is basically the chess for old men, you can say, because it's a very slow process. Like you will have days to make a single move. The normal time controls on ICCF, which is like the FIDE of correspondence chess. It's International Correspondence Chess Federation, by the way, for people who want the full form. ICCF's regular time controls are something like 50 days for 10 moves or something like that. So you will, on an average, have at least 3 to 5 days for a single move, and both players can use chess engines, which makes the game both easy and tough. Easy because if you find a person who is ignorant of this rule and is not using the chess engine, you will probably win in 25 moves. But if both of you are using the same engine and both of you are doing the same thing, then it basically ends up in a draw at move 30 or move 40. Because we are both following the engine's main line. So I think correspondence chess in itself is a big challenge because some people would say they would call it cheating or something like that because you are using an engine, you're not using your own brain. But I would like to say that everybody has the same engine. Stockfish and Leela are so popular now. Both are open source, both are completely free. So everybody is using it. And the challenge is to find ways to out-maneuver and outplay your opponent, which is not the easiest thing to do. Okay, Karthik, I just heard that there is an echo.
Yeah. Now I think it should be fixed because I think I switched on my. Okay, there was. I think I fixed it. Now there should not be an echo, I think.
Sure.
So like generally, how is it played? Like you said, 50 moves. Sorry, what is it? 50 moves in 10 moves in 50 days. So
Yes.
generally, is it played through email or something, or do you need to play some other way?
It's called email in the mega database or the correspondence database. Sorry, I have to correct myself. But it is actually, you go to ICCF, which is the website, and there once you register for a tournament, the board will be visible there, and you have to make your move. And it will ask you for confirmation, and if there is something called a conditional sequence as well, where if you are very sure that your opponent is going to go in a certain direction because it's best play for both sides, you can even give it, so that it saves you time and you get additional days on the clock, which is really not necessary. I have actually not used more than 3 or 4 days for a single move till now. but because frankly I don't find it necessary. I mean, that's my style of play. But there are people I have seen personally who use 10 or 20 days for a single move, and there are some others as well who, in a losing position, will go until they have 1 day on the clock, and then they will start making their moves to reach the time control. So there are different styles of play, but basically you just do it on the server. Even in ICCF, and there is All India Correspondence Chess Federation as well, for which you will have to register before playing on ICCF, so as to represent your country. It's the same. You go to this website and you make your moves on the board there.
Generally, I was always curious, why do players play correspondence chess? Because is there any prize money or something, or what attracts people to play correspondence chess? Because any player can play, over the board chess. So, what is the need to play correspondence chess? And in your case, what is like your reason to play correspondence chess?
I'll answer the general question first before coming to my specific case. So, Karthik, whatever opening revolution is happening in the last 10-15 years is largely due to the discoveries made in correspondence chess. Because here you have time and you have an engine. Whereas in an OTB game, you will, how much maximum preparation time, how much will you get before a game? 5 hours, 6 hours?
Yeah.
You can't hope to prepare the most challenging move for your opponent within 5 to 6 hours unless you're a genius. And even if you're a genius, you can't, like, you might find one path, but supposing your opponent goes off that path, you're going to struggle, right? I mean, even if that path is not the best path, but then suddenly you're out of book. Whereas in correspondence chess, all of us have books, we have engines. So we are able to find ways to make our opponent's life as miserable as possible. And part of the reason why BG5 Nidor, for example, is so extinguished these days, the reason the top is not playing it so much is largely due to correspondence chess. I think I have seen over 1,000 or maybe even more. I'm talking at the very highest level of correspondence chess, I mean. I have seen over 1,000 games in Poison Pawn alone, and in one specific branch of the Poison Pawn variation. So opening theory is the evolves fastest in correspondence, and as one of your previous guests said himself, Krishnan Sasikiran sir, who I respect a lot, I've had the pleasure of meeting him as well once. Correspondence chess is the best way to get your opening preparation secure, because here you're not risking anything. Your OTB rating or over the board, I mean OTB means over the board. So here your rating, you're not risking your rating, and you have time to decide. Your blunder rate will be low. So basically it's a way to experiment, it's a way to learn new stuff. For example, supposing I'm an e4 player and I want to learn d4, so probably then the best way to do it is to play blitz games. That's one option. The other option is to play correspondence with 1d4, so that you know what the critical ways of playing are. For example, queen's gambit accepted, which in OTB chess I don't see so much, is almost a mainline in correspondence chess. Mainly because the structures that are reached make it very easy for black to equalize. In practical play, it is dangerous. I definitely will not take black in a practical game for sure. But in correspondence, it is very difficult to break such openings. Berlin and Petrov, for example, if your opponent plays, I think you just have to resign yourself to a draw, because it is so well studied. That, and the structure in itself is so symmetrical. Even in knight c3 Petrov, people have found so many new ideas basically in correspondence. Whatever people are finding in correspondence, authors are writing in books now. For example, I remember seeing Krautsev Martin in his Italian Renaissance series mention some correspondence line which I had already seen before. So basically, correspondence chess is like a very, very high level of chess. You need to have basic understanding of the game at least to be able to play it. And at the same time, you need to have a decent computer, so that you are not just busted because your opponent has a, for example, 32 core computer and you have two. Then probably you will lose because he will just search much more than you. But you should also have an understanding of chess so that you know which direction is wrong and which is correct. Coming to my case now, for me, the main problem with chess has always been that I've been unable to balance improvement in chess with improvement in academics. Since I started chess at the age of 14, serious chess at the age of 14, it was very difficult for me because I had already entered 10th by the time I got my rating. And in 10th, I spent all the tournaments losing most of that rating. So by the time I came to engineering, I had to start from scratch. and it was not so simple. The first year I got some time to play, and I was playing. But then again, this year Chennai Open was actually an eye opener for me because I played both the GM tournaments in 2019 and 2020. As you'll remember, we met each other in
Yeah,
2020 as well. So in 2020, what I realized was that it's as a practical player, for now, I'm just not going to cut it because it requires too much effort and too much of dedication to a specific part of the game. I was very emotionally unstable during a game. I would make moves out of emotion rather than pure logic, and I was suffering. In 2019 Chennai Open, I just lost 4 games in a row without understanding what was going on. This year I lost 3 games in a row, but somehow managed to win the fourth. So at least that was one disaster that was averted. But basically, I realized that for my schedule, OTB chess is just not to cut it. I know about correspondence chess from a long time back. I've been using the correspondence base from around 4 years now. So it was only a matter of time, I think, because in 12th also I was thinking about this transition. I think this was the right time to make the transition because in COVID times you can't even play OTB chess. So, and anyway, like I said already, my OTB dreams are for now more or less put on the back burner because there are more pressing things to do, like trying to get a job at 22. So, I mean, you have to be at a level at 20, at least if you are an IM, you have some scope of continuing professional chess. But I'm a 1300 with a K factor of 20. That's basically, to give myself odds, I have maybe a 1 in million odd of making it as a professional chess player. I mean, OTB, over the board. Whereas in correspondence, there is always, you can let the engine run, then come back, you can check. You need not have to be doing chess all the time. And for me, I've always found analyzing chess much easier, and I found myself more talented in it compared to playing. Because in playing, a lot of other factors come into picture: time management, emotional control, whether you take stress during a game. So here there is no stress, right? I'm not even seeing my opponent. I just have to make my moves on the board. So for anybody like me who is struggling with emotional instability during a game or doesn't have time, I would definitely suggest correspondence chess as a very good avenue because it helps you learn a lot about the game as well. Because I'm pretty sure my understanding of chess is much higher than what it was before I started this. And at the same time, you're in touch with the games. So even if you want to come back to OTB chess at one point, you're not totally out of it. So this is my reason for starting correspondence chess.
So generally the assumption is like correspondence chess needs lot of patience, and okay, that is why most players don't prefer to play correspondence chess. So how do you get this patience to keep on working on a single move for so many hours and play a single game for such long days? And
sometimes it bugs me also. There have been times when for example, there is one game that is going on. I will not name my opponent because we don't have to do it in front of everybody. But there is this guy who I have shown him forced mate on the board, and he still continues to play in a completely lost rook and d. So if you get situations like this, obviously you wonder what is wrong with him and what is wrong with you, because why are you putting yourself through this? But at the same time, there have been games. In my first tournament, I won an absolutely brilliant game in advanced rating: knight f3, d5, c4, d4, b4. I found a very interesting novelty that absolutely kills that line forever.
Yeah.
And my opponent in that game makes no apparent mistake, and he's completely lost by move 28. I show him forced mate on the board, and he resigned. So that is a case of a good sport. Whereas in this case, like I said, this guy, I am playing him in a match between my country and another. I'm not him. People can go check it themselves. So in the first game also, he did the same thing. 2 pieces down, and he's not resigning. I mean, come on, this is correspondence, okay? There is no way I am going to lose or even draw an end game where I'm 2 pieces up. If it's OTB chess, okay, you can play even a queen down and you can hope to do something. Even I see some people do it even in grandmaster level chess. So there are some areas that time. It's not.
Actually, your voice is not clear. Video and voice is not clear. Okay.
Okay, is it better now?
It's better. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened. So, yeah, is it better
Yeah,
now?
it's better. It's better.
Yeah, so what I was trying to say is like, let's say you have Catalan, for example. Yeah, one of the most explored openings in chess.
Yeah.
Catalan by itself scores only 51% for white in correspondence. So your challenge is to find something in that Catalan that makes your opponent go wrong. So that challenge itself is quite a motivator actually. And for me, like I said, I have always enjoyed analysis much more than playing over the board. I have also written, I think now I wrote 2 surveys last year for ChessBase magazine. This year I have written 5, out of which 2 are already out and 3 should be coming very soon. All 5 this year are on the French defense and on one specific variation of the French defense, Winawer, knight c3 bb4. So for me, I've always found it enjoyable actually. So I guess it depends on your personality. So if you're somebody who wants to play as many games as possible, beat your opponent, then correspondence is probably not for you. But if you like, like slowly, because engine will keep showing 0.00 everywhere. Stockfish in my one of my games, it kept showing 0.00 right up till the time I showed it the point, and then it suddenly rises. I think even Nicholas Nitrilis, if I got his name right, wrote about this in a book, Thinking Inside the Box by Jakob Agard. So Nitrilis has written an appendix about using an engine. So him and Albert Silver have been two of the sources that I've learned from a lot. And he mentions the same. I think in some French defense game, he completely missed this bishop takes h7 Greek gift
Yeah.
sacrifice. And initially the computer does not see it, but then as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, it understands that the position is fundamentally lost. So this is one of the challenges in correspondence. You can't just play the best move of the engine and then
Right.
say that okay, I'm just going to do this and do this and do this. You'll even lose because players at the rating range of around 2-4, they know how to play against players who just use the engine first choice. They know anti-engine techniques. So that is something I'm trying to learn for now. Even I don't know what exactly anti-engine technique is. So this is a very fun challenge, you might say, right? For a player like me, for example, who enjoys analysis, who wants to find the truth in a position, and who doesn't mind letting his computer do most of the work and then using his human judgment to figure out what to do. So this is something that interests me in correspondence. That's why I do it.
So let's come to the planning and preparation. Just before a game, for let's say I'm playing a over the board chess. People have different kinds of attitudes. Some kind of people might be thinking to go crush the opponent. Some people might be thinking just play normal good moves and then just hope for the best. So generally, for a correspondence player, you don't even see your opponent. I mean, literally. So, what is
Yeah,
your
yeah.
attitude towards the game? Do you play to win, or do you? What is your general attitude?
Okay, of course. First of all, it's very silly to play for a draw, like even against a much stronger opponent. I mean, even if, for example, in an over-the-board game, I'm facing Magnus Carlsen tomorrow, I will play to win. Because if you play to draw, that's a first-hand ticket to disaster. Because your mindset will be so rigid, and you will stop looking for good moves and start looking for draws, which is definitely not the way to play chess. I will always play for a win, irrespective of who the opponent is. Uh, Correspondence, actually, we are very friendly with each other. There is a message option as well where we message each other before the game. Best wishes to you. I am this from India, or I am somebody from Germany, or I'm somebody from USA, for example. So it's actually quite friendly in correspondence. So it's not that we are going for each other's throats. Like in real chess, I've also seen some fights after a game where a player is sore loser and can't stand the fact that his opponent played better than him. But in correspondence, it's usually not like that. Like we send congratulatory messages and we ask the guy what went wrong. For example, there was one game in a Philidor where I was white. Philidor defense e4, d6, d4, knight f6, and then, yeah, you get it right. The old Indian setup. So I was, I think, better for 50 moves or something, and then suddenly it was a draw. And then after I offered the draw myself because it was just dead draw, knight and 3 pawns in game. So I asked him what went wrong. He told me you shouldn't have exchanged queens or rooks. Rook, I think, in this game. So that is very instructive to know, right? Because your understanding of the game improves.
Yeah.
Like if your opponent is, fair enough and good enough to share what you did wrong. I think this correspondence, we have a very good relationship with the opposing player, unless he is such a bad sport that I told you, right? Like get into a losing position and then wait until the last day to start making moves. And these kind of players don't even resign in a completely lost position, which I really don't understand. There is another game I'm playing now where I have forced mate in 5. I mean, even a guy with a 1 core or in a mobile, he will find that forced mate in 5. What mobile? I think even you as a grandmaster without an engine, you will find that mate in 5. It's so simple. And he continues to play, and I think he's hinging on the fact that if I win that event. And he's the only one who can catch me right now. But still, forced mate. So that kind of bad sport, it kind of sullies the game a bit. And we see it in over the board chess as well. But usually we are all pleasant players who are nice to each other, just trying to have fun in the game. There are some players who play for fun, some like me who are playing very seriously correspondence. So I guess I mean, it's difficult not seeing your opponent and making him squirm each time you make a good move, and you realize that he has made a blunder, and you can start grinning and he gets uncomfortable, starts shaking his leg. But at the same time, I think once this emotional factor is removed, it just becomes a battle of strength. Like which one of us is stronger? And I quite relish that, because emotions in general are not good in chess, and especially in correspondence, there's no scope for emotion. So I think it's a good thing that we don't see each other in correspondence.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have lost a game in correspondence, but
no, I'm not.
So you have not lost. So for example, let's say upcoming or the new correspondence players loses a game. So how does he know where he went wrong? Because he used the engine and still he lost. So how will he know what went wrong and what was his mistake?
See, this is where even continuing to work on chess will help you a lot. Because for me, Shivananda sir has been a rock solid support as far as chess improvement has been concerned. Really, I have to take this opportunity to thank him, because 2015 onwards, I have been a student, and the maximum improvement I have ever seen in my game has happened under his guidance. So I think the fact that I continuously discuss with sir, what went wrong here. I even show him the game after it is finished and ask him, sir, do you think you agree with my decisions? And at some point, he will point out and say, okay, look, this is an anti-positional move, or this is something which could have been avoided, something like that. So even though an engine shows a move as best, it does not mean it is the best, because engine cannot, see till the end of the game. Like no matter how much technology improves, nobody can simply consider all the possibilities on a chessboard. It's mathematically impossible, because I think the number of positions goes into trillions or something like that. So it's almost impossible. And okay, I mean, you can trust an engine up to an extent, but after that, it's basically your positional judgment. So let's say it suggests in some position a5, a4 when your king's in the center. Then you really have to think hard before making that move. Unless your center is secure, you can't make a wing attack, because then he's just going to blast you in the center. No matter what the engine says, you're just going to be faced with a very tricky defense. Like if you have to find only moves for around 20 or 30 moves, you have a chance to win actually. Because an engine might probably find 19 or 20 only moves, it will not find the 21st move. I'm pretty sure of it, because in a recent survey that I did for ChessBase on Winawer, particular Winawer variation, Stockfish did not see a defensive resource that Leela almost immediately spotted. And in another position, Stockfish instantly saw a defense which Leela could not understand. So there will be engines, there will be their specific strengths and weaknesses. It is up to the person who is using those engines to figure out what the weakness and strength of each engine is, and then accordingly decide where to take which suggestion. And it's very easy to figure out what's wrong, right? When you make an unnatural move, it's already a sign that things are not so great. Like let's say you're playing a game and all the moves just start coming, and then you're in the flow, and your opponent makes a mistake, you're better. He makes another mistake, you're winning, and you win the game. And you have played all natural moves. You know that your game is more or less correct. Like unless you missed some very deep tactical point that only the engine can spot. In correspondence as well, I think we can apply the same thing, right? For example, I told you this brilliancy that I won in my first tournament.
Yeah.
He clearly made a mistake because he kept his king in the center for too long. There will be a tactical refutation. We don't have to I mean, engine will show 0.50 initially. It will then show 1. It will then show 2. Once it realizes that it's been an absolute idiot and the position has been 1, it will then realize and it will show. So engine is both a genius and an idiot. So it is up to the person using it to figure out where you use the genius and when you neglect the idiot.
Yeah.
So tips to find moves, that's what I said. Unnatural moves or moves that break positional principles, or moves that just do not seem right to your intuition, because human intuition we should never underestimate. It's one of the strongest things in chess actually. Mikhail Tal, a player whom I love a lot, had a fantastic intuition. I mean, the moves he made, today engine will say, okay, it's a bad move, but show me the refutation over the board. That's something a human cannot do. So human intuition will probably guide you on the right path. That's all I can say.
So based on your answer, do you think in the future a human can beat a computer?
I would probably say not, because since 2003 itself, it's been like, to use my coach's analogy, which he used in his interview, it's like running a 100-meter race against a sports car. So even if Usain Bolt runs against a basic, okay, like even take a Maruti Alto, okay, the worst, the car is not bad, but in terms of speed, it's definitely one of the worst possible ones. You take a Maruti Alto and you put Usain Bolt, obviously the Alto is going to win.
Yeah.
Like you put even an engine on your mobile phone, I think even a 2800 is going to lose in 25 moves.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, it's got to a point where you can't beat them anymore. I don't think you can even draw against them anymore. I guess you can try playing against engines that are rated around 28 to 3000 on the list, their specific rating list, because at least then you have a chance, because an engine might make a mistake. But let's say Stockfish 12, the latest one, for example, I am pretty sure if 10 grandmasters sat together, the top 10 in the world, and then the top 10 retired players in the world, and even somebody else, for example, like just themselves, they're not going to beat the engine. Heck, they're not even going to draw. The engine will still beat them, because the tendency of a human is to make mistakes. That's the fundamental tendency. We, like even Magnus Carlsen, for example, he might make 39 good moves and then one slightly suboptimal move and suddenly he's under pressure. A human under pressure will crack, whereas a computer does not understand the meaning of pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
So these sort of things are there, and human will tire out, engine will not tire out. Like it can just keep going. As long as there's power, the engine will keep coming. Whereas you'll have to have a breakfast break, lunch break, washroom break, and still after 6 hours you'll probably like, okay, why did I take up the game of chess? You know, it's so tiring. So probably humans are not going to beat engines, but maybe correspondence players can beat an engine. If only an engine is playing and a correspondence player is playing, I think there is a possibility that this might happen, but you will need artificial help, because you blunder and the machine doesn't. So you need to make sure that you are playing correctly.
Yeah, that is very true. So let's come to the correspondence chess itself. So generally, you have choice to give your move very quickly, or you can take a long time for a single move. So generally, how do you finalize your move? So let's say on the first day itself, or in the first hour, you finalized a move, and then there are circumstances where you're not so sure. So how do you generally finalize your move and give it to the website or ICC?
Yeah, so it depends. Again, my approach has changed radically since my first tournament. So initially I was just playing whatever I wanted to, and based on the opponent's response I would start to respond to whatever he was doing. But nowadays I am also playing in a World Cup, which is a very serious event, and I am the bottom seed, so I have to, only the winner will qualify to a final, where even title norms like in regular chess, you have GM, IM and all that, you have the same in correspondence chess as well. There are 4 titles: correspondence expert, correspondence master, international master. Oh, there are 5: senior international master and a grandmaster. So GM title is the ultimate goal even here, and that's what I'm also striving for. So to make those norms, you have to play in a very serious event, and for that you need to win the lower ones. Again, you have to do very targeted preparation. I have seen players who find such small chinks in the opponent's armor that they just put a pin there and suddenly the gap becomes so big and they blast through. I have to thank again one of my Facebook friends, senior international master Wolf Morrow from America. We started off arguing about whether the Petrov is a forced draw in correspondence, and ultimately I have to agree with him that it's not a forced draw, but it's close. But we have become very good friends. He has also helped me a lot in figuring out what to do, and he was the one who told me this targeted preparation that he used to do. It's same like in OTB chess, for example. You know, a person is bad in the Sicilian, so you'll go hit him there. Or he is bad in the King's Indian, so you will prepare samish with one game novelty, let's say, and you're just going to hit him with that and you'll win. It's the same here as well. You just have to find avenues for your opponent where engine help is not going to be so important. And it's basically a battle between whose intuition and whose positional understanding is stronger, mine or yours.
Yeah.
And if it comes to that, I am pretty sure I will hold my own against anybody else, because first of all, I always felt that my intuition has been very decent considering my rating, and secondly, I still continue to work on my chess. I continue to improve. I continue to interact with strong players like you or Setu, for example. I had recently spoke with him in an interview. So that way I am always ensuring that I am reading up a lot, I am learning stuff. So as long as you're continuously learning, you should not be scared to go into a battle, a human versus human battle, where both of you have the same engine, but our brain engine is different. So I guess this is how it depends. And with regards to the move, I think again, like if it's an opening, you probably play it fast.
Yeah.
But after 10 moves, you like, okay, 5 to 10 moves, let's say on average, you can play fast. But then again, you have to check. Like every single option, you have to check and see, okay, what direction is it going? What is happening? So I mean, it depends. Like for me, I play the opening fast and then I start to take some time. And I saw a comment in the chat from Tejas about is there any prizes? Yeah, there are prizes. There are prizes, but it's not as much as in over the board chess, because even the entry fee is much lesser than over the board chess, so it's proportional. Like for example, you join a school that is charging less from its students will probably give less to its teachers. It's the same thing, same policy. Or a company that is offering its services for very cheap will also pay its employees much less. Yeah, so as much as you take, so much only you're able to give. This is the basic policy.
And also there was one funny comment by Siddhant. He says that he can beat a computer because he can pull the plug. So
yeah, if you can pull your opponent's plug forever during the game, you'll probably win, Siddhant. But if you pull your own plug, you're probably going to lose.
No, he was mentioning computer's plug. So he says he can beat a computer.
Yeah, but how is that beating a computer in chess? That's not beating in chess, right? I'm talking about playing computer in chess battle in beating.
Okay, it was just...
I mean, that way anybody can, yeah? Even if I plug off my laptop right now, the stream is over. So this way we can do many funny things. But on the serious note, in correspondence chess, you can't beat an engine. I mean, when a correspondence you're playing against an engine itself, you'll probably have some chances. But let's say as a human you're playing an engine, you have zero chance. You'll not beat.
Okay, let's come to the openings part. Like, how do you choose openings for correspondence chess? Like, at least over the board, like, sorry?
No, I just answered this, I think, because I said targeted preparation, right?
No, like I mean, like, I'm coming to the like exact openings. Like, for example, Sasikiran, he was saying that, he doesn't play openings which are not, for example, French, which are not played that much in the correspondence.
Yeah, okay. Now I am going to get into a world of trouble with Sashi sir.
So generally, what is your take on that? Like, which openings do you choose for correspondence chess, and which openings you don't prefer to play?
Okay, Karthik. First of all, let me answer this question with an answer from Rustam Kasim, who I had the pleasure of interviewing. He said basically anything you can try in correspondence. So it does not matter as long as the opening is not fundamentally unsound. Like if you play e4, g5, you'll probably lose. But even the modern defense, for example, I think even the Austrian attack in the Pirk, which is considered a 1-0 opening in over the board chess, is drawable in correspondence. So that already speaks a lot, right? Because engine gives such a big plus. But another example is the dragon, Sicilian dragon. An opening which people just simply refuse to play in over the board chess. I think only Gavin Jones had the guts to try it against Magnus Carlsen, and he got a winning position only to fluff it later and lose. Okay, he's a very great player. We should respect him, and he got a winning position against the world champion. But you see, only won 2700 out of so many, and you never see it in standard chess. Yeah, they're probably playing e5, or if they play the Sicilian, they're playing the Najdorf, or they're playing the Taimanov. Taimanov again, I think recently there have been some issues, right, in Queen f3. Setu's released that book, so probably for now Taimanov is.
But actually, Caruana played it in Norway chess. I think he.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. It was a very interesting concept actually by Fabi. But what Tarry did was not the critical line. Yeah, I'm talking about Queen f3. Yeah, Bishop e3 and f3. Yeah, so there again in correspondence, such things can actually be drawn. Like even if I play the dragon, there's a high chance that I can draw, because after a point the engine level slowly starts dropping once it realizes that black's position is actually sound. This point actually I want to really disagree with Sasikiran sir. He's a fantastic player, like one of the greatest India has ever produced, and I truly respect him both as a chess player and as an analyst and as a fan, because I have seen what he can do to opponents in this Olympiad. He showed, not Olympiad, sorry, Asians, he showed who he is as a player. But I have to disagree with him here, because he said the same thing when I asked him about Sicilian wing gambit, e4, c5, b4, which I have played successfully twice in correspondence chess. An opening which is considered unsound by all the theoretical manuals in the world. I am playing and I am managing to prove that white is fine. Similarly, the French, I think I even saw Sasikiran sir's game where he struggled in the French defense. The problem was he chose the wrong line in the Winawer. He chose a3, bishop c3, pawn c3, I guess queen a5 instead of knight e7, which is, I think, a fundamentally unsound line, because you're using a queen to block the a pawn, like a 9-point piece to block a 1-point piece, like already shows something is wrong, right? Just to restrict the bishop, you're willing to put your queen on a4, which is not a good square, because I can just play rook a2 or rook c1, or even bishop d1 if allowed, and just protect c2, and then where is your play?
True.
So I think his understanding of the French game, or his understanding of the soundness of the French, came from that particular correspondence game where he was seriously struggling, and that is why I want to disagree, because had he chosen the actual poison pawn, it has been proven by even Anish Giri in his course that black is doing fine. In fact, this recent game, I'm sorry, I'm getting his name now, versus Timur Rajabov from Dortmund last year, followed exactly a correspondence game, up to move 25 or 26. So French is fundamentally sound opening, and in my opinion, it is one of the best, if not the best, defense against e4, because one, it is relatively unexplored compared to Sicilian or e5. Two, the positions that arise are not easily understood by any computer. Like Leela has definitely helped in terms of the French, but Stockfish still it gets into positions where it's no human is going to do that in a practical game. But since you have Leela, you can check, cross check, and then you can do something. Three, I think the French is the perfect balance between playing for a win and still keeping your position relatively solid. So French is a fundamentally sound opening, so there's no question about it whether you can play it. I have played French at least 4 or 5 times now in correspondence, and I will continue to do so for any of my future opponents who are watching the stream. I will continue to play the French defense. Throw whatever you have at me, I will try to draw. So, and I have also played the modern Benoni, which is considered one of the most risky openings. Basically, my over-the-board opening repertoire, I have played it in correspondence as well. And for one of my friends who's watching here, Tejas, who just messaged, he used to tell me, modern Benoni is unsound, thing like that. It's very difficult for black to play. And I actually remember a funny incident where he once called me and told me, bro, I refuted 4 pawns attack. I'm Benoni with 4 pawns attack. And I was laughing, sitting here and laughing. And within 5 minutes, I managed to prove that black is completely fine. I mean, in that line, and then later on I wrote a survey as well on it. So, in correspondence, basically any opening that has a sound positional basis can be played. That includes the King's Indian, Benoni, French, Caruana, anything that has a sound positional basis. I think even e4, b6 you can play and try to draw. You'll not win, but you can at least try to draw.
Yeah, before going
and,
to... Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I saw a question from Srikanth about how far have engines advanced since Deep Blue.
Yeah.
Srikanth, it's incomparable. It's like 1,000 point gap now. So Deep Blue was, at least you had a hope of beating Deep Blue. I'm pretty sure a modern day GM like Karthik, who is with me today, will at least draw against Deep Blue and probably has some chances to defeat it, because the chess understanding he has because of the evolution in chess will help him at least draw or win the game. Like, I'm just talking with respect to him. Like, probably Magnus Carlsen will beat Deep Blue in a match. I'm pretty sure. If it happened today, Magnus will probably beat Deep Blue in a match because he has learned how to play anti-engine chess from the engines themselves. But today, I think Deep Blue will lose 200-0 in 200 games against the strongest engine today. Yeah, because Alpha Zero, for example, which became such a revolution, each time the Alpha Zero was retrained, it beat its old version 100-0. And the old version was beating Stockfish 8 very easily. And Stockfish 8 was beating the rest very easily. So you can imagine Stockfish 8, which was around 4 years ago, Karthik. I'm not sure about the date.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so Stockfish 8 in 2016 was the #1 engine, and it has a rating of around 3,300 or 3,400. Today's engines are rated 3,800. So you can just imagine the gap. Deep Blue was 2,800, and this one today, Stockfish 12, for example, is 3,800. Probably it will even reach 3,900 and 4,000. We don't know how far it's going to evolve. So yeah, to answer that question, Deep Blue will probably lose to any decent top 10. I mean, all the top 10 players are obviously very good players, but even a decent grandmaster has a chance today to at least draw or beat Deep Blue, whereas he has 0-0 chance against any modern engine.
And
I hope that answers your question.
yeah, and I would like to clarify that I didn't pay Tanmay to say that. He said it by himself. So, and I have a selfish question. I was preparing this French Winawer. I don't know how many months ago, because I didn't track the lockdown period. So, and I was facing problems in this H4 line, which I think Vacher
right?
played against Nepo and he beat him. So generally, and at least, okay, it was Stockfish was saying around 0-0, but generally I felt it was very difficult to play over the board. And do you think the same goes, like, do you think a correspondence player would equalize or make a draw quite easily in that variation?
I'll need to know the specific variation to make a very instructive and detailed comment. But in general, a variation that is very difficult in over the board chess, for example, Sicilian Dragon. I'm coming to this repeatedly because I had a game here. I even spoke with Rustam about this, and he agreed with my conclusions, which is very, like, practically impossible to play over the board Sicilian Dragon. Yeah, because you will have a one game novelty that will be so sharp that you'll not even understand what to do over the board, and you'll make a mistake and lose immediately. But in correspondence, since you have an engine with you, like, if there is an only path, and provided your engine is sufficiently strong, I am pretty sure you should at least be able to draw. Maybe even some winning chances if white goes wrong. I'm always an optimist. So even with black, I look to win. That's why I play the French. I don't play it to make an easy draw. If I want an easy draw, play Petrov, 25 moves, repeat some old correspondence game, make a draw, go home. I mean, stay at home, but you get what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I think it's possible. Like, even 0.60 position, you should probably be able to hold in correspondence, provided you play very precisely and you don't make any further mistakes. And a 0.00, which is practically difficult over the board, really doesn't matter, right, in correspondence, because here the practical element of chess is out. That is what drew me to this in the first place. I'm being very honest here. My fundamental weakness as a player was the lack of the practical element. I was strong theoretically. I even have draws against a grandmaster, Rajaram Lakshman. I drew him in Blitz, and this was 4 years ago. I drew against international master Ravi Gopal Hegde. I'm sure you've heard of him. And I drew against FIDE master Yashas Devappa, who is also Shivananda sir's student. I have made draws against them in over the board chess, and these last two in rapid chess as well. But somehow I was unable to maintain my level consistently for a very long time. So, because of the practical aspect of the game, because you will have to take stamina, you'll have to take emotional stability. I think emotional stability is a very underrated factor. If Magnus Carlsen is world #1 today, the main reason is he's very stable even after a loss. He doesn't go berserk like Aronian and do what he did against. Was it Caruana Karthik where Aronian lost a game previously, and then he went completely bonkers against Caruana and lost that game. This was in the candidates in 2018.
2000.
Aronian was white. Yeah, Aronian was white. I don't remember the opponent, but I clearly remember this. Aronian had to win to keep his chances alive, and he went completely like off the rails, and he lost that game. And with that, his candidates' hopes completely disappeared. So, see, here is a player like Levon. I have the utmost respect for him because the creativity, the genius, the talent that he brings to the game, I think it's incomparable to anybody from the previous generation. He's in a league of his own. Here is a player who I think on his good day will probably even beat Carlsen in a match. But he's just struggling to get there because of his emotional struggles in the candidates. Another example is Vasily Ivanchuk, Alexei Shirov, Alexander Morozevich. You see, all three of them have one thing in common. They're fantastically creative players. But the problem is they have this creativity issue. With too much creativity comes emotional instability. And I think the same thing affected my game. And definitely being a Taekwondo black belt did not help here. Because in Taekwondo, your first instinct is to go and kick how your opponent as hard and as many as you can. Whereas in chess, you have to be measured. Yeah, you have one move for you, one move for your opponent.
Yeah.
So, okay, I mean, the guy who said he lost to Wesley in 960. Yeah, 960 is a game where no opening is involved, right? So Wesley, so in my opinion, is the best player in the world when openings are removed from the equation. The one area where he continues to struggle is he doesn't find ideas as easily as Carlsen does. You know, Magnus is not the most respected opening theoretician in the world, but I say he should be. Because the ideas he finds, I'm sure you have seen yourself, Karthik, he made the London system very popular.
Yeah.
Like it was a nothing opening before Carlsen came. And now everybody in the top is trying out the London, trying to find ideas here and there. Because, I mean, 960 again, it was one event, right? He's not God. He can't win all the events. There will be times where a player's form will dip. And I can give you countless examples where Magnus's form did dip. But the reason he's world number one is, I firmly believe, is because of his emotional stability. And the reason Fabiano is world number two for these many, I think the last 2-3 years he's consistently been there.
Yeah.
I think that is because he has managed to, again, control his emotions. He almost seems like a robo when he's playing. I can't read his emotions. And even after the game, he's never, totally sad or extremely happy, like jumping out of his seat, doing fist pumps in the air, things like that. So such players generally succeed more in OTB chess than in correspondence. The example, why I gave this example was to show that OTB chess and correspondence are two fundamentally different things. Even though it is chess that is being played in both places, in the OTB chess, practical element is at least as important or maybe more than the theoretical element. So this is, I think, very important to understand.
Yeah. So, okay, there was a question. I don't know if you answer. You have answered it already, I think.
Yeah. So Siddhant, I am not a GM, though I will soon become one.
Yeah.
Don't worry. The day I become one, I'll ring Karthik up and we'll have a celebration scheme with me as GM Karthik Venkatraman with correspondence GM Tanmay Srinath. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
So let's come to the opening preparation part. Like there are let's say, do you prepare openings beforehand before a game, or let's say you play d4 and then you have like 10 days, right? So you will think later to what to play or something.
Again, this is an approach that has varied for me fundamentally during this 8-9 months of when I've been playing correspondence chess. It's not a very easy question to answer actually, because at the same time, you don't want your opponents knowing all your secrets of preparation. I will just say this: I have done both. I have also played and move, and then I have started. There was this funny book, right? Move first, think later.
Yeah.
So I guess you can do this in correspondences. You can move first and then prepare later. I mostly do this. There have been cases where I've prepared in advance, but that's usually stuff that I do for my. I do for something else, and then probably I'll use it in correspondence. For example, there's this Wing Gambit game, which most of it, at least, I had already analyzed a year back before I started playing correspondences. So that is that's something I know it's a little vague, but at the same time, I hope it answers your question, because you can do both and still be successful. I do the former, where I move and then think, or then I explore. But there have been cases where I've also prepared specifically for an opponent. Like, I know which direction I have to go. Like, let's say he plays the stone wall. I am pretty sure the stone wall is not the best of openings. It's a playable opening, not the best, because it's positionally a little bit tricky for black, because you're giving up a square for life, and you have to get enough dynamic counterplay to justify giving up that square. In such a case, I'll go into such a variation.
Yeah.
This is just an example I'm giving. I hope it answers.
Yeah, true. Sure. So now let's come to the engine part of the stream. So first of all, I would like to tell the story about how we met. I think I was playing this one of my worst tournaments in my career, this Goa Open, and I was just sad, and I was talking with Sagar Shah, I think, and then Sagar Shah and you just came right there, and Sagar Shah asked you, do you know him? So I thought, okay, one more embarrassment is going to happen. So this person is not going to know me. Already I am sad, and one more embarrassment is going to happen. And then you said, okay, yeah, I know him. It's Karthik, right? You said, okay, and I was actually surprised. And then we talked for a bit, and we discussed a lot about Leela and so on. Until then, okay, I know it existed, but I didn't even know that we can download Leela engine. So that itself was a surprise to me. So let's come to the engine part, because we have talked a lot about engines and so on. So I just want you to share your knowledge on engines and so on. So
yeah, sure, I'll try to be as helpful as I can.
So okay, so first of all, see, there are a lot of engines out there. Like, for example, I think people can see, right? One second. Yeah, okay. So now people can see. So there's a lot of engines which I downloaded and which I bought. Some of them I bought. So there is Fat Fridge, Fridge 17, Komodo 14, Leela is there, Stockfish is there, and there's also Asmfish, Sugar. So generally, what is your take on all of these engines? So can you describe the advantages and disadvantages of each engine briefly?
Okay, Komodo is very close to my heart, especially the Monte Carlo version, because it always agrees with me. Okay, I don't know whether it's a compliment or supplement for the makers of the engine, because I'm not such a strong player. But Komodo is very close to me because my first survey was written entirely with the help of Komodo. I think it's one of the positionally soundest engines that you will find, and it was the positionally soundest engine before Leela.
Yeah.
And then Leela shook things up. I think it's probably still very, very relevant, and I use it a lot as well. Komodo in general has this, like, let's say you don't have the best of configurations on your system, then I would suggest Komodo, because with Komodo, this depth thing, which I'm sure you'll eventually come to, it's not so high. So, and it will find a good move in a very limited amount of time. So Komodo, I would say, for people who don't have a strong system, I mean, it's worth an investment actually, because it's positionally sound. It doesn't make any positional errors, and it's tactically also pretty good. I guess for a practical player, okay, I'm addressing this mostly to practical players, and even correspondence ones as well. It does not matter always that you're using the strongest engine, I feel, because let's say both of you are using Stockfish, then we follow the first line of Stockfish for 40 moves, it's a drop. You have to try to do something different, and that is where I've used Komodo a lot in correspondence actually. So mostly the regular one, and also sometimes this Monte Carlo version, which basically searches moves based on the win probability, you know, how much chances I have to win if I make this move. So both are very usable. Komodo is very close to my heart. Fat Fridge, I mean, my article says it. So I'm a vocal critic to a vocal fan, so it's been quite a journey. But there have been cases where Fat Fridge has led me in the wrong direction, and to use Fat Fridge well, you have to have a strong graphics card as well with you, because otherwise there is no point in running a strong neural network. So FatFriends and Leela Chess Zero are neural network engines, which means they use a neural network is basically like a small human brain, you can say, a lot of interconnected layers, and you need a graphics processing unit for it, simply because you have to do a lot of computations at the same time. Let me give you an example. This was for a project that I did. Again, see, this is where the software engineer part comes into the picture. So CPU is like a very fast racing car. Okay, imagine whatever racing car you want. So CPU is a very fast race car, and GPU is a large truck, a fast truck but a large truck. So if you want to go from point A to point B, the race car is obviously going to get you faster, but you can only go one at a time because you have only one seat in that car. F1 cars, for example. At least the ones I have seen, I have one seat. I have not seen two-seater F1 cars till now. So whereas a GPU is like you can transport thousands of things at the same time. It's just going to take more time. So this is the thing with neural nets. You need a strong GPU. And yeah, there are CPU versions as well. They're usable, but I think there are at least 50 to 100 ELO weaker. It should not matter at all for over-the-board players, because all you're trying to do is make sure that your opening is not a mistake. But for very serious players like you, I would say you probably need a good graphics card to use them. Coming to the rest in the list, okay, I mean, what should I say about Stockfish? It's the most widely used engine in the world. It's probably the best of all time, and I don't have much to say about Stockfish. Leela, we have already spoken quite a bit. I think, yeah, and Asmfish is like the trump card, which I was refusing to reveal till now, but okay, now on the stream I've taken this as the chance to reveal. Asmfish is a trump card. It's basically Stockfish on 10 Gatorades, for example.
What is that?
I mean, energy drinks. I could use. No, it's an energy drink. Okay, if I use another word, you'll probably kick me out of the stream. So I'm trying to be as.
No, actually, initially I thought it was a software term, but okay, then I realized it's an energy drink.
No. It's basically like Stockfish on 10 energy drinks. Yeah, it's very fast. And Ramesh sir, another brilliant man, and one I mean, I respect all these guys a lot because they've done something that I've not done in my life till now, which will probably require a lot of effort. I think Ramesh sir posted a tweet where, I'm using Leela, FatFriends, Asmfish. Asmfish is a very important engine actually. It's basically Stockfish very fast.
Yeah,
Niranjan, I'll come to that.
We'll be talking about that soon once we cover the engines. So yeah, go on, Tanmay.
Yeah, Sugar I've frankly not seen before, but I've seen, I think it was there in this engine tournaments. Yeah, I guess it's oh wait, is it that NN1? Oh, no, that was something else, I think. Okay, Sugar is usable again. I'm not
actually. I downloaded it because someone told me that Lalit Babu uses it, so I just wanted to try it out. That's all.
Okay, if Lalit Babu is using it, you should take it very seriously, because I mean, he doesn't even, according to your stream at least, he doesn't even do opening preparation. If such a person is using it, it means that engine must be truly special for him to use it and find ideas. Probably, again, I don't know much about it, let me be honest. Hit 17 is a very good training partner. You can play a lot of games against it, but as an analyst, I would say that it's probably one of the last engines I'll go to.
Actually, like about Asmfish, initially, like we were discussing this, I think, couple of months ago, and you said it was bad compared to Stockfish. Now you are saying the opposite. So, what did you like learn about it that changed your opinion?
Okay, one thing is the speed is incredibly good.
Yeah.
Like let's say we'll take a very small number, so it'll probably get to depth 30 in 10 seconds, while Stockfish might take 30. I am talking about very weak hardware, one CPU core being used. We'll come to the specifics later, but this is an example I'm giving. Like I said, this is okay. If I may use the term, please excuse me if it's inappropriate. It's like Stockfish on steroids.
Yeah.
It's incredibly fast, and this I figured out for myself only after I used it, and I continue to see it at the top of the ChessBase cloud. And Ramesh sir's tweet really helped me change my mind, because okay, Ramesh sir is definitely the best chess trainer in the world currently. I honestly think so. I'm not just saying it because I've had the chance to meet him and He's a very good person and a fantastic trainer. You know how many national champions he has produced. I don't think any other coach has produced till now. And all of them are fantastic players, his students, and more importantly, fantastic human beings. I think that matters a lot. So he's definitely the best chess trainer in India by a large margin, and probably in the world as well. And if he is using it for opening preparation with students who are GMs and higher, it must be a very serious engine.
Yeah, true. Actually, the reason I was kind of asking you was actually one of Ramesh's student. I don't want to name the person. Is I think one of the strongest chess players in India. So he was using this Asmfish, and we were talking about it. That's why I was asking you. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a good engine. It's one of the best.
Yeah. So
like, see, it's very difficult. Like, if you put Magnus Carlsen, Vishy Anand, Gary Kasparov, and Bobby Fischer together and ask me who is the greatest player of all time, I'll probably be scratching my head and I'll finally say all four, because each one contributed to chess in a different way. Each one did different things to chess, and each one came from a different background. They had different strengths. So it's the same with engines. If you put four together and tell me, okay, Tanmay, which is stronger, I'd probably pick Stockfish as the strongest one. But strong does not mean best, right?
Yeah.
There are other factors to be taken into consideration. So that way, I would definitely put Komodo as my number one choice. Houdini, I was very interested to recommend until I realized it is basically fraudulently removed from Stockfish. Like, Stockfish is an open source engine. I'll just explain what is open source for people who don't know. It means that the engine source code from which, okay, this is probably a little technical, but please bear with me.
Yeah, sure.
The source code is from where you compile and make the engine. Okay, let's just say it's like the bricks and cement of an engine. Okay, you combine them together and you build a building. Similarly, Stockfish's source code is freely available to everyone across the globe. So what this Robert Houdat has done, even I did not know this until I read about this a few months ago actually, on one of the places that I visit from time to time, that Stockfish 8, around 50% of Stockfish 8 is there in Houdini 6, and basically what he has done is, he has just increased that node count value in a fake way. Like, it's just, let's say for example, you have 10 apples, but you arrange them in such a way as if to make it seem like you have 12.
Yeah.
You understand? The same concept he had done with Houdini. So it's basically Stockfish 8 with some other differences. So definitely I am not going to recommend Houdini to anyone. Anybody who steals from open source and does not give credit to the respective people is definitely not worth suggesting.
Yeah. So okay, let's go to the specifics of an engine. Just for for fun, I'm just going to put Fritz 17, and we'll talk. Okay,
we'll change the hash size because that's too much.
Yeah,
probably hang your system.
We'll talk about that as well.
Please cancel it because probably the stream will stop if you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
just no, just cancel it. Like, close the engine for now. When you add it, just add it with lower hash size. It's very important. Hash size.
Yeah, we'll talk about hash. Yeah.
Please make it 512 actually. Make it 512. I'll tell you why. It's half a GB, so more than half a GB if you give to an engine.
So first of all, my question is, what is this hash table size, which I think almost nobody understands. And
to be honest with you, I personally don't understand what it does myself. I will just give a general description based on what I've learned in software till now. Basically, a hash table, anywhere you use it, it just stores things that you have previously visited. Like, for example, let me take a very simple example like heap search, which is a algorithm in my course. For example, it will heap search or whatever, some search algorithm, for example. Like, if you are going to the same place again and again and again, isn't it inefficient? So what you do is then you store the results of previously visited places. In this case, in chess, you are doing the thing, you're doing search. But what are you searching? You're not searching for a place, you're searching for a move. Similarly, you need to store the results of whatever you have previously seen in a hash table. This is the hash table, okay? So the larger the hash table size, the more an engine will store and it will be more efficient. Disadvantages, it will be slower.
Yeah.
Your system will become slower. If you don't have enough RAM, you will probably, RAM I'm sure at least some of our
Yeah.
audience should know. It's basically RAM is the reason why you're able to see the stream right now. All of this is in random access memory, which means it will be there for now and then it will disappear. It's not in read-only memory because it will be too computationally expensive to put all of this in a read-only memory each time. So Hashtable basically takes from your random access memory, which is like I said, the memory that is really vital when you run a chess program. And I did hear this from you last time that no, Tejas, it's not Tablebases. I'll come to that later. Basically, like the more RAM you have, you can set your hash table size to larger. You can maybe use like 2-3 engines, stuff like that. Okay. If you use a very large hash table, your engine will be slow, and basically your system will crash after a point because your system will run out of memory.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Karthik, your whole Windows 7 is probably running on 1 GB of RAM. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can't run it on ROM because it will never be fast enough. Read-only memory is only for stuff which you want to store permanently. But operating system, each time you put it, like you run it on the RAM. For example, I mean, it's not 1 GB probably, it's probably 20 or 30 MB. Like the basic processes of an operating system will run on the RAM. So any person who says RAM is not important when designing a computer, I would beg to disagree. In this case, it's very important. So this is basically a hash table. And coming to threads.
Yeah, before going there, what is your recommended size? For example, my PC is 16 GB RAM. Do you think hash table size should be kept depending on the RAM size or something?
Depends on what applications you run.
Okay.
Again, these sort of questions, very like I'll put a disclaimer out right now. These sort of specific questions, it's going to be really hard for me to answer because that particular scenario there'll be a perfect hash table size. General hash table size I can give. For example, Fightwell is a decent size. If you're not running anything else, maybe 1024, which is 1 GB.
Yeah.
But it's a very specific question, you know, that depends on everybody's RAM configuration, his processor, what application he is running, what graphical user interface he is using, like whether ChessBase or something else, or Fritz. It's a very, very difficult question to answer because like I said, it depends from person to person. For your case, now I said 512, and I'm sure you understand why, because you're running streaming software, which is computationally very expensive. You're doing a lot of things. You're broadcasting a video from me where I'm in Bangalore, you're in hopefully Tirupati, right? Yeah. So you're in Tirupati, I'm in Bangalore, so you're taking two videos from completely different locations, you're merging them and you're running. So it's computationally very expensive. So in such a case, you have a low hash table size. That's
so generally, like for so your recommendation would be 512 for most of the PCs, right?
Yeah. Usually stick with the default settings because they are the best. Okay. Unless you think you know better than the programmers who developed the engine, then you can probably do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Usually stick with the default setting because that's the best. Okay. That's all I can say. I'm answering this question in general because we have a lot of audience here who are not as technically adept as you or me.
No, I'm also one of them.
No, Karthik, you learned OBS, okay? That's one of the hardest things to do. The reason I have not been streaming is because of this stupid OBS. You have to learn so much. And you have to, I mean, I saw now, yeah, we started the stream late because some small thing happened and then you have to fix it. It's for me, it's a big pain. So you have learned OBS, so you're definitely technically adept. Okay, at least first class in tech. Okay, I'll give myself a very fair distinction.
Okay,
like around 80%. I also don't know much, but for us, we might understand. But for them, I would say just use default setting because it will automatically put what's best for your computer, and then you can just use it. So we can start with 512 now.
Okay, so should I press just OK?
I don't think an engine is like. Yeah, just OK.
And what is the smart piece CPU usage and use table? Okay, Tablebases I know, but
smart CPU basically conserves power. Yeah, Tablebases coming to Tejas' question now. So endgame Tablebases. Okay, this is general knowledge that somebody who's a serious analyst should know. Endgame Tablebases are basically sets of positions where the result is already understood. Okay, you know for certain that it's a win, a draw, or a loss.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an endgame table base. Basically, till now we only have 7-man table bases, meaning 7 chess pieces on the board we are accurately able to figure out what the result is. And this is already a huge achievement, yeah, because you take 4-man table bases, I think they were quite the thing in 2000s. 5-man table bases, I think when you started chess, I think 5-man table bases would have been the thing. And maybe when you became a grandmaster, it was 6-man table bases that were mainly used. And now it has graduated to 7-man, which we use on ICCF also to finish games that are, for example, that this is conclusively won, you can claim it as a table-based win, and there ends the matter. You don't have to play it out because you know.
Yeah.
And light chess, for example, fantastic. I myself a chess-based guy, but I play on light chess a lot. Light chess has, I think, access to table bases as well. There are many places you can. Basically, table bases are a set of positions which have a the result is already known. It's not a predefined result. It's a place where result is already known. And if you want to store it on your system, it's impossible because you need around terabytes of data.
Yeah.
You need to store. I mean, 7-man pieces are already quite a lot. So what you can do is chess-based cloud, for example, happens to offer table bases. Like if you go to an endgame, it will probably give you the result, like mate in 21 or something. Table bases and hash size are completely unrelated. But this is what endgame table base is. So I hope that answers your question, Tejas.
Actually, it's nothing important, but when I was kid, I bought this Nanimo table bases, and I didn't know how to install it. So till now, I have not installed it.
No, it's fine. No, I think probably today's databases. Okay, I think you need to go one more back, right, Karthik? Because Queen D2 is where the.
So anyway, let's first focus on these things. First of all, let's come to CPUs.
Okay.
There is it says 1 to 8. So generally, what is this CPU thing? Can you how to explain? So go ahead.
Okay, please don't get bored, audience. It's again a tech question which will be met with a tech answer. It's not just a chess stream now. Excuse me. So, okay. What do you think this quad core and all is? Quad core, meaning a CPU core is basically a part of the CPU which you use for all these computational tasks. Generally, and I mean this very generally, there have been cases where I might be proven wrong because of the particular architecture of that processor. A CPU core will have 2 threads, meaning it will have 2 components that you can use. Let's say, for example, you are using a quad core, which is pretty obvious because your default is 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that my sister spamming the chat. Okay, I'm very happy. Hi, sis.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay, so basically, if you have a 4-core system, you'll probably have 8 threads. Okay, 99% you'll have 8 threads. Generally, it's not recommended to run all 8 because then your system will hang, it will shut down, you'll probably break it, and you'll have to pay 50,000 to repair it. Yeah. So you run as many CPUs as the number of cores you have, provided you're not running anything else. Here it's showing 1 to 8 because you have only 8 threads. If you put 10 threads, it's not even going to take 10. You can try. It's not going to take. And 1 thread is the easiest thing to do. And even a 1-threaded Stockfish will probably beat you and me so badly, we'll wonder why we took up chess. But for the sake of analysis, I think you can set CPUs to whichever figure allows for the maximum performance. In your case, I would suggest please stick to even 2. 2 is fine because you're running OBS. It's a very computationally expensive process. Let's say chess is the only thing you're doing, and chess base 15 is the only thing you have open, and Fritz 17 is the only engine you have running, then 4 is fine. But if you are running too many things at once, and I would say not more than 4 is actually not so useful, no? Because what you're each time you increase, its speed starts to drop. So let's say at 1 thread it will be at 1000. 2 it will be 1800, 3 it will be. That's the fundamental property of a computer system. I think this anybody can find. Single thread performance and multi-thread performance and multi-thread performance are 2 different things. So I would suggest keep 2 threads, unless you're so serious that you want it as fast as possible. And for Fritz, I think depth 25 is already a decent enough depth, because this the structure of the engine is different. Every engine has its own structure, and we'll come to that as well.
So yeah, that answers that CPU's question. So do you never recommend 8 CPUs, right? Like some of my friends,
Not unless you really want to waste your father's money.
okay, yeah, that answers the
Okay, I
question.
know this because yeah. I'm sure my father is watching the stream right now. He would definitely not like it if I broke my system and he had to pay 20,000 for that i7
Yeah,
again.
right.
So
Yeah, and
yeah,
yeah.
this has
Okay, so let's come to this notes thing. So first of all, for currently it's saying okay 1481 kilo notes per
yeah.
second. So first of all, what is that for people who don't know?
Karthik, you remember I told you about search, right? So what are you doing in search? You're trying to find something. So what you're trying to find is essentially called a node. Okay, like let us say we'll take a very general example, basic mathematics thing. Okay, you're a commerce student. I know that because you told me you're doing your CA, but I'm sure you have at least like basic knowledge of graphs, right? If I take a graph
Yeah,
example,
I'll
let's
just act as
let's
if
even take
I
a
know everything.
okay. That's what I also do. So we are both
Yeah.
good. Okay, so let's even take navigation. Yeah, Google Maps for example. You're trying to navigate from Bangalore to
Okay.
Tirupati. Now, or I'll take Chennai because that's the route I probably know better than Tirupati, or even Mysore because I visited Mysore the most. A few of my cousins in this chat will probably be from Mysore. So when you go to Mysore, you have all these places, right? I think you start at, if I'm not wrong, you probably start at Ramnagar, then you go to Chenpatna, then you go to Mandya, then you go to Mysore. So all these are called nodes because you have to go to, let's say I have Bangalore is my start node, Mysore is my end node. It's the goal node. My goal is to reach Mysore. So my question or the thing I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find the easiest or the quickest path to that goal, most efficient path. In this case, it's the strongest move, so the easiest path to that strongest move, or a move that maximizes my winning chances. Um, I'll come to Niranjan's
Yeah,
question
yeah,
later.
sure.
Um, So basically, a node is something you're trying to, it's part of the search process. So if it means 1480 kilo nodes, let me just translate it for people who have literally no idea of this. 1480 means it's searching 1.4 million positions in a second. So each position or each move, I'm not sure which one. Please, if there's a correction in the chat, I'll be very happy to take it. I don't know if whether it's a position or a node, but it's one of these two. It will search this. Each one of these is called a node. I think it is position. It will search each position is a node because it's like Bangalore to Mysore, yeah. Because your car is here. This is the start node, so this is probably okay. I'm not visible on the
Yeah, no
camera.
problem.
Okay, I mean, okay, I'll probably show here. Wait, yeah, okay. So this is your start node. This is your end node.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the start node. Means your car initially starts here, then it comes here, comes here, comes here, and then it reaches. So like each position is like that. Yeah. So E4, E4 C5, E4 C5 knight f3, E4 C5 knight f3 D6. So each position is a node, I think. As far as my understanding is concerned, please feel free to check, and if I'm wrong, I'll happily correct myself. This is again too technical, and this node number is actually not so important for the regular user
So,
because it really does not matter how fast your engine is searching. Because for you, I think the main concern will be whether the move that you're planning to make in a game is right or wrong. And for that, it really does not matter how fast your engine is. But in correspondence, I think it does play a small role. Coming to Niranjan's question now, why not 8 threads when you're not
yeah.
using anything? Niranjan, I have tried this experiment myself, and believe me, you do not want to do this. This is definitely this kind of, in comics they put, right, Superman comic, for example, like, please kids, do not try this at home.
Yeah.
So Niranjan, you're not a kid, you're older than me, but I'm just saying, like, anybody, do not try this at home. Your computer is not just about what program you're running at that particular instant. There is something called background processes as well. If you go to your task manager in Windows, it will show you hundreds of background processes. Each one will need CPU usage, whether you like it or not. Your system is running because it's using CPU, otherwise it will just stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you run 8 threads, what happens is, supposing there's an important process that suddenly comes in the system and it wants to do it, it can't. What will happen? System will hang. And a system that repeatedly hangs definitely there'll be damage, right? Like a human being, let's take a human for example. If you're repeatedly falling sick, there's something wrong with your body. Something is going wrong with your body. Similarly, if a computer continuously hangs, there means there's something wrong with that computer, and that will happen if you're using more than what you have.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure chess players will understand this. Yeah, you have only a queen against an entire army. A queen and a king against the entire black army except the queen. How can you try to attempt to checkmate him? It's just not possible with the resources you have. Similarly, the case here. So I hope it answers your question, Niranjan. Please reply if it
Yeah,
does.
and coming to notes, like strong chess players, even some of my grandmaster friends, let's put Leela for example. So generally, they don't know which.
Please don't run both of them
No,
simultaneously.
I switched it off. I mean, I switched Leela for
Okay.
Fritz.
Okay, first of all, with Leela, CPUs is not very important. Please make
Yeah,
it wrong.
CPU. So, for example, Leela says it. Okay, currently it's saying 3 KNS. So generally, people don't know how much KNS is good for analysis or something, and people get confused. Like a lot of my friends complain that when they are using cloud engines, this KNS sometimes goes to 100, or some of the strongest cloud engines might even go to 200 KNS per second. So what is your take on that? Like, is it okay to analyze with 4 KNS and compared to cloud engines?
Karthik, basically a 4K engine and a 40K engine, supposing that everything in the engine is same and only the hardware parameters are different, will essentially do the same thing. So it does not matter if you don't want to buy a new system, it's fine. You don't have to waste hard-earned money on something that will probably be outdated as soon as you buy it. Okay, which is the reason why I bought my laptop in such a way that I did not buy the immediate current trend, because I know that if I spend 40,000 more for this current trend, it's probably going to, this trend, it's just a trend, like I said, like technology is improving so fast, it's probably going to be redundant in 6 months, and I was proven right. Nvidia released their recent graphics cards. Okay, I will not go into the names and all, it's probably going to confuse people.
Yeah.
But those cards are 50% faster than the previous generation. Okay, that's a lot. Believe me, as a software engineer and as a person who has used computers a lot, I have seen personally that trends in hardware or newest things in hardware become so redundant the moment they release, because immediately the company goes into developing the next one and the next one and the next one and so on. So in such a case, you can keep your original system. Just remember, 40 kilo nodes means compared to 4, your system is probably going to find the same thing 10 times faster. Just do basic maths.
Yeah.
40 by 4 is 10. So your system, let's say Queen D2 for example, if we were to find it here, it will probably take more time than on my system where it goes at around 28 for example. Like I have a decent graphics card. My father shelled out money for it. I should never say me, because I'm not earning. Whatever system I have is because of my parents. They're watching this, thank you, because they're the reason I am able to do correspondence, because of their system that they bought for me. So my father spent a considerable amount buying that graphics card. I'm not sure many fathers or mothers will do that for their kids. So in case they don't feel bad. It's just that you will get to that location 10 times later. And does it really matter for you? If that speed is really important, then buy it. Otherwise, why simply spend extra money which you can spend on playing OTB tournaments or planning a stay in somewhere else, or going to a meditation course, or like something, like do something else with that money, or save it, put it in a bank. So this node thing is especially not very relevant for players who just play chess for the fun. But for serious players, yeah, higher it is the better, because you go there faster. But sometimes do remember that speed is not always the most important thing, right? Cost also matters. Like if a cloud engine is 3 times costlier for 2 times the extra speed, I'll definitely not take it. Because just see the ratio.
Yeah, true,
You're paying 3 times or 2 times the speed. Doesn't make sense. This is something it'll probably, all these things I learned from experience, and I'm pretty sure the viewers will learn this from experience. And to be honest with you, the first 2 surveys I wrote were on such a pathetic graphics card that my Leela speed was not 4 kilonodes per second, Karthik, it was 8 nodes per second.
8 nodes.
So
It's like 0.008 or something, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, this is
Okay.
4000 nodes per second, okay? Now, what is it, 500 times slower?
Yeah.
And I still wrote such a good survey that neither Sagar Shah nor ChessBase were able to refute what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my point now. Even my Komodo, it was a very slow Komodo, okay? Because I am running an i7 4th gen, which for tech geeks is like 6 generations or 7 generations behind what is currently present. But when I bought it in 2016, it was just behind the 5th gen. Like 5th gen was there in 2016, but on the insistence of my sister, who felt that clock speed is more important than number of cores. I just wish she hadn't done this back then, because I mean, now I'm beginning to regret that decision. We bought the i7 4th gen, which has a higher clock speed but lesser numbers. Yeah, back then, now it is very slow, right? And I also run it on 2 CPUs or 4 CPUs. It was very slow. But still, I managed. I remember even Sagar sending me a message after I sent him the survey from Oliver Ree, who's an international master in Germany and part of the ChessBase team.
Yeah.
Oliver had told Sagar that this is one of the best surveys that he has seen ever. That really, made my day, made my month, probably even made 2019 for me. Oliver Ree has seen surveys from basically the top 10 also, yeah. And this is an example I'm trying to give, not as a self-praise thing, in quotes, but just to show that even with low computational power, you can still do very good analysis. Just depends on how hard and how much willing you are.
Yeah. Okay, let's come to the depth part. Or for Leela.
Meantime.
Sorry.
Because Niranjan had a question.
Yeah, actually, he was talking about this. Let's say they have this 32 thread or 16 thread. Then also should they put four CPUs, or is it okay to put 16 or higher?
Basically, that's what I advised you. Put as many threads as the number of cores you have, provided, and this is a big provided, you are not running anything else. And even if you put 4 threads, you want to run something else, fine, probably run a Word document or run Chrome. Don't play a game, gaming application on one side, and then put 4 threads here, because I'm pretty sure the system is not going to work.
Yeah.
System.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
And he had one more question. Yeah. So yeah, Leela usually doesn't give 4-digit notes, because Leela, I think you should probably read Albert Silver's articles for more clarity. It really helped me a lot. Yeah, Shrikant has answered my question.
Yeah.
It's all in course. Yeah, but Niranjan, to explain, okay, Leela is a fundamentally different engine from Stockfish, okay? It's like comparing a man and a woman. They're fundamentally different creatures. They're that different, okay? We'll not go into who's the man and who's the woman, okay? It'll be a really controversial discussion. But basically, they do fundamentally different beings. It doesn't matter if Leela doesn't go to 4 digits. Why? Because it doesn't need to. Leela is this highly intelligent being, okay? That doesn't need to go very fast. It will just understand the position with a basic element of calculation. Stockfish is probably like Karthik Venkatram. Calculates and somehow, keeps brute force calculation. Or like our coach who we share, Shivananda BS. Both of them are essentially the same. They're both calculators. So when you're calculating and your whole thing depends on calculation and not on understanding, mainly on calculation, little understanding, they build it into the search function. But still, what is the search function doing? It's finding moves, right? So if your whole focus is to find moves, obviously you need to go as fast as you can. That's why Stockfish is faster. There is a very nice paper on AlphaZero by DeepMind. I suggest anybody who's interested in engines to go read that paper. Or if you're less scientifically minded like me and you're completely bored by all that stuff, please go to Albert Silver's articles on ChessBase regarding neural network engines. Albert Silver to me has been what Sagar Shah has been to me in chess engines. He has been extremely helpful. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank him. I don't know whether he's watching this, I don't know whether he knows that I'm even here. But Albert, if you're watching this, thank you so much, because whatever I've learned in engines, it is from you. Whatever he has taught me, I have learned. I've been a good student, but yeah, I have learned a lot actually from his articles. I suggest that you do the same. Go read his articles.
Yeah, and also there's a question from Sankalp Gupta.
Sankalp, yeah? Hi, Sankalp.
So the question is, which graphics is AMD Ryzen 9 better or Intel i9 processor better, 10th generation?
Okay, Sankalp, I hope you're asking this as a chess player. Chess player, obviously Ryzen. It's not 9th gen. I think it's probably Ryzen 9.
Yeah, Ryzen 9.
And get Ryzen 9. Okay, sorry, I probably read it wrong. Yeah, Intel. Basically, Intel is, if you are a gamer or if you are using single core applications a lot. Single core applications are games, some other stuff maybe. I'm not sure because I've never used a single core application so much. Then, okay, Tejas is giving a very technical answer here, which is completely unnecessary, Tejas. You don't need to go so deep. Simple answer for chess, you probably buy Ryzen, okay? If you are a serious gamer and you want to pursue a career in gaming, please go buy i9 because the single core performance i9 is literally ripping Ryzen apart. But when it comes to multi-core, Ryzen simply has more cores. And like Srikanth said before he left, more cores, you have more threads. Because Karthik has 4 cores, he can use 4 threads. I have 6 cores on my system, which is an i7 9th gen on my laptop, which we are currently using. I can use 6 threads safely.
Yeah.
Basically, it's... So, Sankalp, I hope it answers your question. And please, if you're getting a good discount on the 3rd gen Ryzen, go for it. Because it's a really good one. I've seen some correspondence players use Ryzen as well. And believe me, it's a very good...
But generally, like if you search, laptops in Amazon or somewhere else, like most of the laptops are from Intel only. So...
yeah, that's because AMD took a long time to realize that they're basically losing to Intel in every single way. And it was only from 2017. Again, I refer you to Albert Silver's first article on Threadrippers. Threadripper is basically like Dada of Ryzen, okay? Like, it's like how a 2700 GM is to a 2400 IL. There's that much difference. Threadrippers have 64 cores also. God knows how they use it for chess, okay? Because I've never used a 64 cores system in my life, nor do I intend to because it's too costly. But basically, Ryzen, they took a long time actually to figure out what works for them. And by the time they did, even the laptop processors were not so great, but it's changing now. 2020, there was a brilliant release by Asus. I am not sure which one, but there was a Asus Ryzen laptop which is literally killing Intel competition. So AMD is slowly catching up. Don't worry. Even Intel's working hard, but I'm pretty sure at least for the next 5 years, it's a very large time frame. Believe me, in the software and hardware, AMD is going to stay on the top. So better stick to who's on the top.
So let's come to the position. For example, Leela, how long do you need to put it up in a for example this position? You have analyzed this position in depth and you found out that Queen D2 is the best move. So how long did you put, I don't know if you used Leela or not, but how long did you put an engine generally to get the best move?
Karthik, again, this sort of questions, you're making my life as difficult as possible. I like that. As an interviewer, you're doing a good job. But as an interviewee, I have to tell you, it's one of the most difficult questions to answer because, again, it is so specific on the system that you're using, the configuration that you have, and such things. So it's very difficult to answer because generally in a very fast system, 2 to 3 minutes is enough. Reasonably fast system, probably 5 minutes. Slow system, probably 10 minutes. My system, frankly, I don't remember how much I let it run. Basically, I saw this move Queen D2 in correspondence already. And I realized that once I put that position and I turned on my engines, it became very clear that black is not equalizing here. I mean, you can try even now. I don't know why it is showing equal.
Yeah, Queen D2 is not even showing at all.
Just play Queen D2. Probably it will understand slowly. Yeah, just follow the main line. Follow it. It does not understand it. It just does not understand. Yeah, see, it's saying queen takes a5. This is already so bad. Follow. Knight e5.
Yeah, e5.
No, e5. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you were saying.
There are two moves here.
Yeah, finally it's changing the evaluation. Suddenly, bishop f3 and it's jumping. Yeah.
Now you understand, yeah, how difficult. Yes, see, this is my point. That is why I said it does not matter how much you run on a particular position. You need to have that skill as an analyst to be able to make that decision. Whether you just follow blindly what the computer is trying to tell you, or whether you try and check moves for yourself. I mean, I am pretty sure, Karthik, if you tried, you will be a very good correspondence player because I've seen your games, very inventive player on the board. Such kind of players will succeed in correspondence because you're using your brain as well and finding very practically very difficult.
But actually, I don't have the enough.
So, see,
I mean, required patience and all. So I don't think so. But anyway.
Okay, I mean, you're 1 year older than me, Karthik. You should have more patience than me.
Yeah. Okay. You can go on. Yeah.
Okay, that was. Yeah. No, this I made my point now, right? Does not matter how much time. Because you let it run for how much now?
Yeah,
10
probably
minutes?
10 minutes, I guess. More than 10 minutes.
It was 10 minutes. More than 10 minutes.
So in terms of like Stockfish, like what is
Please make it 2. Please make the number of CPUs as 2 because I don't want this to hang and yeah, see, Stockfish also understands at a very low depth that white is completely.
So generally, like at least Leela, okay, there is no depth requirement, but for Stockfish, I think like few months back you said that 50 is the ideal depth, and like when we were doing a test stream, you said 40 is decent enough. So what is your perspective on depth for Stockfish?
Again, to answer why I changed my stance, you also have to understand that as a player, I am nowhere close to the level where it is immediately apparent to me what depth is enough. It took me a lot of soul searching. Depth 50 is too much, way too much. Probably, I am pretty sure that some of the people here, if they started and tried to run depth 50 on 2 threads, they'll probably take 2 hours, 3 hours on a single move. Is it really worth it? It's not. Depth 40, why I am saying depth 40 is, I should mention this incident actually. I will even name the person because it was so funny to me. He's a very strong, he's a decent FIDE master from England, Charlie Story, who wrote this sniper thing. You must have heard of this opening.
I think he wrote a DVD, right? He made a DVD.
Yeah, DVD. He also wrote a book in 2011, which was a decent book. But he kept mentioning that Stockfish depth 30 is enough, depth 30 is enough, and I started laughing. The Stockfish depth 30, if you are using for opening preparation, it's just not enough because the nature of Stockfish is such that it needs at least, okay, let's give a small number for the audience, okay, because not all of them have powerful systems. At least depth 34, according to a very respected author. I will not name him.
Okay.
No, he's a good author.
Okay.
I have read his book also. It's a good author. He's also a correspondence player. We have to take him seriously here. Okay. All this I found out after I told you depth 50 was good. Okay. All this was after. So please forgive me if I have misled you. Because even I am trying to learn.
I understood my PC won't go to depth 50, so I was just using it at depth 40.
No, even my PC is not going so far, okay? Depth 40 only. All correspondence players are watching this. Please do not use this to your advantage. I am only running till depth 40. Probably, Karthik, my rating will drop by 50 points after this interview. So this you have to compensate somehow later on.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
No, just joking, okay? No, depth 40 for Stockfish is good because at that depth it's pretty much understood what to do. Like you see, now, for example, you run it for 2 minutes, it's still at depth 28. What is that decent for Stockfish? Because the structure of the engine is such. I'm going to be very Sadhguru like here and not give a much detailed explanation because I'm sure some of them are even going to like what I'm going to say. So, yeah, Stockfish depth 40, Komodo depth 30. That's my preferred formula. Because Komodo is such an engine which has a fantastic evaluation function. It has been fine-tuned by a Grandmaster, World Senior Champion. So it has a much more better understanding of chess, so it doesn't need to go so deep. But Stockfish needs to go, see now depth 30, it is decent, okay, with this Stockfish new which came with Stockfish 12. It's good. Even depth 30 is good. But I would suggest if you are really serious, depth 40. Otherwise, even depth 30, 35. Again, I have to come back to the previous point. To find good moves or to find novelties or to find new tries, it is not up to the engine.
Yeah.
It is up to you. So I hope this answers your question, because these are very, very difficult questions to answer in very general sense. I will say depth 40, then somebody will run depth 40 and come and say, hey, no, what this Tanmay said, or not even Tanmay, they'll say Srinath, because they don't know my name is Tanmay and my father's name is Srinath. They'll come and say, okay, what is the Srinath telling? Yeah, he's saying depth 40, my system's going to depth 30 in 2 hours. What a waste fellow.
Yeah.
So I made my point very clear, I hope, because it again depends on the system. See, depth 30 is a good enough depth for your system, because it's taking a long time to go to that required depths. 40, I think, will already give you good analysis, right? All my win gambit I did in depth 40 only. By depth 40, stupid engine understood it's equal. And once stupid engine understands it's equal, basically you don't need to go any further, no? It takes so much difficulty, believe me, to get an engine to agree to a gambit. That wing gambit, for example, my coach is very oblivious to this fact that I have run, like I've spent almost a year running basically every single line.
Yeah, I saw some of your analysis and it's really crazy.
Now you understand, how difficult it is as a correspondence player. It's very, very, like, your opponent will keep doing the best move and you have to keep scratching your head. And how do you win? I was so desperate, I tried wing gambit in a correspondence game to win. Now, please understand my desperation level from that.
Yeah.
So depth 40 Stockfish for decent systems, depth 35 Stockfish for bad systems. Bad in the sense, okay, it's not built for this. It's built for office work, not for this. Depth 35 is good enough. And Komodo depth 25 to 30 already gives you pretty good moves, right? It's good enough. And for Leela, it is the time. Time factor is important. Like we saw, 10 minutes it was already giving decent analysis. Not the best, but decent.
And like coming to this position, first of all, this game was, I think this position arose in MVL versus Caruana game in candidates, right?
Yeah, before we start this, can you just give me a minute?
Sure,
I'll be right back. Like if it's not... Like you can give the readers an introduction of...
I'll just tell the story about this position.
Sure, I'll just be back. Thank you.
So guys, actually what happened was, like, I actually played this position I think 1 year back, and I was playing against a 2300 rated player, and this position arose. I didn't check this position like exactly before the round, but I checked it like I think maybe 2 weeks before the round or something like that, and I didn't check it like very deeply or something. And like I saw that if you see, like there were I think couple of games played. I think my live chess is not coming, but actually there was a Firoja game, and also Yakovenko played this position and he played this move rook e1, which is what I also played in the game. And my opponent played c5 and he made a draw very easily. And like after that I decided not to play Archangelus this opening with white basically. And yesterday while we were talking about this test stream, Tanmay told me that this variation itself is refuted, which was quite surprising for me, because I thought this is completely equal. And that is what actually Yakovenko played this, and also opponent of Firoja played rook e1. So Tanmay, like many people don't check correspondence games, right? And like what would you they should but like how to get these games and all correspondence games?
Yes, some chess space promotion for my wonderful mentor I am Sagar Shah, without whom I was never in a capacity to write. It is solely thanks to his effort in raising me as an author, raising me as a person. Also, he has helped me, taught me a lot of things. So Sagar, I don't know whether you're there, but I'm also making this a thank you stream, because for me, it's not who I am today just because of my effort. It's also because of how many people have helped me. So actually, Sagar was the one who persuaded me to do this series. I have to thank him for discovering queen d2, because he forced me to, literally. I had to show something in that article, no? Otherwise, who will read it? So, correspondence, you will get it in Correspondence 2020, which is a chess-based database. There are other sources, but why? It's like, why do you want to go searching for something which is already present?
Yeah, true.
So evidently, it is already right in front of you. Why do you want to go searching for some other source? Chess-based correspondence database is perhaps the best way to get correspondence games, and also if you're a correspondence player yourself, you'll find a lot of sources. But again, we are trying to direct this to be as general and as helpful to as many people as possible. So chess-based correspondence database is a very good place to start. In fact, I have used it almost extensively for last 2 years in my preparation. It has really helped.
Yeah, so and also like I remember I was checking this like I was telling the audience that I played a game in this position, and I remember
you showed me this.
Yeah, and I remember checking this with I think Stockfish 11 probably, and okay, it didn't say, I didn't check it for like 15 minutes or something. I just checked it for couple of minutes, and it was saying equal only, and it was showing rook e1 and maybe knight g5 it was showing, and also Yakovenko played rook e1. So I played this. The point is after bishop into e4, bishop g5 is the point. That's all I remembered in the game, and I played. Okay, the game ended in a quick draw actually. So like I thought after this game, this variation itself is a draw. So I decided not to play this again. And so
and then I came in and spoiled it.
Actually, you saved me. Now I'm going to play again.
Yeah, but they'll probably do bishop e3, rook e8 now. Yeah, so that's the main issue.
Okay, I had some ideas there. That was not the problem for me actually. This I didn't find something, so I decided to stop playing this variation altogether.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so
we have covered most of the engine stuff, I guess, right?
Yeah, we can probably focus on this now. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we can focus on this analysis, I guess.
It'll also be some
and also you
useful.
You mentioned in this comments that you have no doubt that if MVL had one more months to prepare, you would have found Queen D2. Why do you think that?
Yeah, I mean he had only 2 weeks, to prepare for candidates. If a guy like me, who has literally zero top level chess exposure, I mean the people I know are good grandmasters, strong grandmasters, but I don't have contact to the absolute top. And I don't have a team of seconds working for me. It's only me and my computer, which is far weaker than ones that MEL would have used. So if I am able to find Queen D2 in a day, I am pretty 100% sure, 200% sure that Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, had he tried in this position, he would have found Queen D2 within seconds as a player himself, as a very interesting try. And he would have probably refuted this line completely had he probably focused more on preparation. He didn't know, he was going to play in candidates.
Yeah.
So when he learned that, he probably focused most on his Sicilian and Grunfeld, because he has a very limited repertoire as black, which is a slight disadvantage at the top, because they'll hit you with one game ideas which you'll not know and you'll lose, or at least make a very difficult draw and waste your energy. That's why I am 100% sure that Maxime would have found this had he had more time. Karthik, can you just give me a minute?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just be back. Sorry, really sorry for this.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay. Siddhant, I don't understand your comment. Yeah, we'll be. Yeah, okay.
Karthik, really sorry for that. Actually, no I had given my for service today, and the guy was asking whether he could drop it back. Really sorry for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So, okay. Should I answer how I found Queen D2 or what? Should I continue with MVL?
Yeah, you
can
MVL
is a top player, right? So he's top 5 in the world. At one point, he was top 2, and he's one of the most resourceful players I know with a very limited repertoire. So he plays only one e4 almost as white, and he only plays the Najdorf and Grunfeld. Such a player with such a team of seconds like Bakro and I think even Eduard was working for him at one point. So such a situation, I'm pretty sure, no, like he has so many more resources than I do. I'm pretty sure with time he would have found my ideas.
So generally, do you think if okay, we'll just go through some of the moves and okay, you keep this as the main line, rook a d1.
Yeah, because queen takes a5 is critical. I think this is why he didn't play it. He probably knew all this and he thought, okay, queen takes a5, where's my compensation? Because queen d2, rook d2, knight d4 is very pleasant for white. That we don't need to check.
Okay, maybe he didn't even know this position. I am having that kind of a doubt, but anyway.
No. Like, let's say he was underprepared actually. That was very clear in the first game. Underprepared. So when he comes to this position, he also took some time before playing ng5. As far as I remember, he took some time. So I am pretty sure he would have seen queen d2 as well. I mean, he's such a top level guy. Okay, 2800. I'm 100% sure at least it would have been there in his candidate list.
But okay, but what he played is also like quite natural, right? And also like I remember it was one of the main moves of the main moves of Stockfish, I remember. So
okay, but you're doing this against Fabiano Caruana, who has clearly come prepared. So it's at least a psychological mistake and a warfare mistake, if not an actual chess mistake. I don't think the move is bad, but definitely there's no advantage after what.
Exactly.
So queen d2 he would have considered, but queen a5 is critical, right? You have to find something here because you're simply a pawn down otherwise. So you have to see e5. Okay, I don't know why it is not understanding that this is advantageous for white.
Okay, it missed queen e1, I think, probably.
Yeah, I mean it's still showing some.
It will slowly increase. Yeah, but generally, let's say you get the opportunity to play this in a correspondence game. Do you think you will be able to win this position?
Probably after queen e1, I would be 75% sure I'll win the game because I think by 4 it leads to an exchange up position. So that sort of like you can go to the end of the line, I think.
Yeah, 75% is quite positive, right?
Yeah, but it again depends on my opponent making more mistakes because chess is such a fundamental draw.
Yeah.
That I mean, both sides have 32 powers or something else, which they start with. Yeah, this position it's probably slightly better for white. I will need some work on this for sure because it's not clear. Doubled f pawns, bad structure. Actually, his pieces are not doing so bad currently. But I guess long term this is very pleasant for white, right? Because I have the d file and the a file. So if I win. If I win one of those pawns, I am pretty sure I should be able to win. Like f4, f5, probably trade one f pawn, and then make a passer on the e file. It should probably be winning. Like long term, I would say white has definitely good winning chances. Short term, he seems to be doing fine, and it's again like I gave plus equal at the end of the line. You have to stop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
8 I stop. You can't prepare until a draw. Some people do, but I don't see the point. But I guess in this sort of position, white has very good long-term prospects because once you consolidate your king, somehow seems as if black's compensation is a very, fragile one, something of a dynamic nature. Where you have to be very precise. Like here, I think already f4, f5 might already be very good for me.
Yeah, okay.
Just analyzing this without an engine, like if I can get f4, f5 and trade this doubled f1, I think it should probably already be very good for me.
Yeah, if you get f4, f5, then yeah, probably it will be.
Yeah, because just trade one doubled f pawn and make a passer on the e file should probably be close to winning because you also don't forget a rook will be stronger than a minor piece given time. Here the king is slightly weak, but how do you attack it? Queen h4, okay, so what? Nothing's happening. And queen h4 now is a blunder, just you lose your queen.
Yeah, true. So anyway, guys, like if you want to play something against Rylopes Archangelos, I'm not even pronouncing it right, but anyway, so this is what you need to play.
Complicated name.
And you
just
can
call it Archangel and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and you can find this analysis in ChessBase India. I think you can just search for Tanmay Srinath's analysis of FIDE candidates, and you will easily find it. And I would definitely even for strong players, I would definitely recommend. I mean, this analysis even for a strong player. So
Yeah, I mean, I busted a 2800's opening idea, so it must be serious.
yeah. So let's like we talked a lot about engines, and also we'll just I'll talk a little bit like rapid fire questions or something. We'll just do that and we'll end the stream. It's not like
Okay,
there's no fire in this question, so you don't need to worry. It will be mostly
yeah, I mean,
chess related stuff.
okay, sure, and feel free to ask me controversial questions as well, but make it as tough for me as possible.
So okay, so first of all, like coming to openings, according to you, objectively, which are the best openings for black against e4? You should name three.
Karthik, this is rapid fire, okay?
You just name
This is
three,
a
not
very
just name Najda of whatever. Like,
French, E5, Sicilian, Sveshnikov, I would say.
your favorite correspondence chess player?
I don't have one. Probably if I have to name one at this particular moment, it would be myself, because I like the way what I'm doing. I'm trying to improve. Okay, there was one guy who I checked, Nigel Robson from England. There was one game that he played which was absolutely tremendous. And okay, correspondence, let's give Shashi Anna, no? Krishnan Sasikiran sir, who tries all sorts of absolute crazy stuff on so much craziness which he will probably not do in an OTB game. Okay, we'll take Sasikiran as my favorite correspondence player because he's trying a lot of stuff there.
So you recently recommended me to buy this, Sethraman's DVD in Chessable on Tablebases Archangels, whatever.
Yes.
So, like, is it your favorite chess opening course right now?
I would say so, because in terms of the analytical quality, in terms of the breadth of the course, depth of the course, and simply the insane amount of work that SP Sethuraman has put into this. I only learnt of it when I interviewed him. He spent around 2-3 months developing this course every single day, and so many hours. I can't even name it here. Like, it's such a big number. Probably most of them will not even believe me. It will come out in an interview on ChessCULT India mostly shortly. But he spent so much time, and his analysis is of such high quality. I have not seen a better opening course by any other player. Probably this, and if I get the chance to buy it, Anish Giri's course on the French, this would be my favorite course.
Are you aware of this Lamer wins Caracon's course? It's like 36 hours or something in terms of video.
Who's going to watch 36 hours of a single person?
Yeah,
I think that will be the first question.
But anyway.
No, but Lamy is a terrific guy. I also learned that he also spent a lot of time. Like, okay, how do you learn it? You probably see it there, and you see 36 hours, you realize he spent a lot of time, doing Caro-Kann. Caro-Kann, I am not very worried because, first of all, there are so many tries against Caro-Kann that it's a very... Caro-Kann and Sicilian, that is why I don't rate them so highly. Because you have so many good options that you can try that force your opponent to solve practical problems. First of all, advanced Caro is a serious theoretical problem. Okay. Secondly, Panov attack is very dangerous in practical play. Panov botwinic attack, e5, c5, c4, which leads to an IQP position. Thirdly, exchange Caro-Kann is a very good false claret tempo down. Fourthly, fantasy Caro-Kann is going absolute bonkers from the word go. Even if it's a completely equal position according to the computer, White has a very easy playing attack, no? Like the Morozovich have won so many easy games with it that f3 I think is again a very critical test of Caro-Kann because you're trying to keep the center. Whereas in French you don't have this option. If you play f3 you'll probably lose. It takes and queen h4 check is lost. So French is a very limited opening. That's why I put French at number 1 because it's very easy to learn. It's something that computer doesn't understand so well, so human touch is never completely out of the picture. And it's a very sound opening, no? It gives you so many winning chances. And my coach has played the French almost fully, like throughout his career. He has played it with some regular basis, and I like it. It just suits my style. Personally, I feel it's definitely the best opening against e4 because I have stopped playing e4 now because of the French.
Yeah, and
so,
recently you had a Twitter and Facebook feud about this greatest chess players thing. And in your opinion, who are the three greatest chess players?
Okay, Karthik, the feud was in my Facebook and Twitter, started by me. And I have to put a disclaimer here. The following is my opinion and my opinion only. Please feel free to disagree, but do not personally attack any chess player, either past, present, or future. With that, let us proceed. My greatest is not a one player, but a set of four. I think anybody who reads my Facebook will understand this. Bobby Fischer, Gary Kasparov, Vishwanathan Anand, and Magnus Carlsen. I have also stated the reasons. Bobby Fischer came from I don't think he had any chess background in like how somebody like Magnus Carlsen had. Like he had a strong chess playing father at home. I don't think Bobby Fischer had this. He came from a country which had no serious top chess player. He came from a broken family. He had mental issues. Considering all this, what he did from 69 to 72 is almost a godly achievement. I don't think any human being is going to do this exact same thing again. Bobby Fischer is definitely one of the greatest of all time for this reason. Gary Kasparov, again, his father died when he was 6. Yes, Kasparov had Botvinnik as a coach, which is why I would not rate him. If you really force me to pick, I would probably say Vishy Anand is the greatest player of all time, but I'll come to that. I'll come to that in a minute. Gary Kasparov had Botvinnik as a coach, but he also had to face struggles. He came up in the Soviet Union, which was not the free country that India is. Like so much freedom was not there. And Anatoly Karpov's men always threw hurdles for him. 84-85 match is the best example. Because when Kasparov was coming back, they just stopped the match. So he had to battle the Soviet machinery from within because Karpov was the favorite and he had to battle all these politicians and he had personal life issues. And what he did, he dominated the sport for 15 years. I don't think even Magnus Carlsen has been as dominant as Gary Kasparov. But I'll still put him in this list. I'll tell you why. Let's come to them one by one. Gary Kasparov is definitely the GOAT, one of the GOATs. GOAT meaning greatest of all time. Vishy Anand for me, I would put at the very, very top of this list. If you force me to pick, I'll put Anand. Here's why. 1. Despite having a negative score against Kasparov, we must understand that Anand was still peaking as a player, whereas P. Kasparov was during the time when Anand came into chess. 2. Anand came from a country which did not produce a single chess grandmaster. Okay? We had an international master who had decent achievements, but where is international master? Where is world champion? Okay? Even my coach is an international master. Some of the people here are IMs. I'm saying this with all due respect to them. You're all fantastic players, but there is no comparison at all between an international master and a world champion. Completely different playing field. He came from a middle class background as European conditions are concerned. You look at Magnus Carlsen, he had a very rich family, he had a lot of sponsorship. What did Vishy Anand have? His father was in a government job, his mother was a housewife, as far as I have read. Okay, government job means you had decent income. But to take chess seriously in a country which had almost no chess background and then go and win the world title 5 times. In an era, I should remind the people who are chatting here, you can disagree with me, but in 91, Anatoly Karpov was still at the top, Gary Kasparov was still at the top, some other Soviet player was still playing, and all these Nigel Short and all these guys were there. Anand came without backing, without support. He had support, yes, but compare it to others. That's what I'm saying. In 91, he won ahead of Kasparov and Karpov. And since then, since 1991, he has been in the top 10 or top 15 for almost 30 years now. That's not easy. You might say, okay, fine, Anand was not world number 1 no, for 5 years, so maximum. How much? Okay, how can you consider him the greatest? Please try to understand longevity is why Roger Federer is considered the greatest tennis player of all time. Okay? Federer has been playing tennis for almost 20 years. It's a very physical sport. And he's still beating players who can actually be his kids in a different timeline. It's or like, come 2 different generations apart. Same thing, Anand is beating players. Ali Reza Firuza can as well be Anand's kid, right? So much age gap is there. 30 years he has been at the very top of the sport. Top 10 is already a significant achievement, which is why I say Pentala Hari Krishna is also a legend. Because top 10 is a very significant achievement. You go to the top 10, you stay there for 30 years, you come from a country which has no chess background, and you dismantle this Soviet dominance of chess. Tell me who other than Anand dismantled the Soviet dominance before Magnus Carlsen? Magnus Carlsen was after Anand. He learned from Anand, he was also a second of Anand. It was a rightful succession which happened, which is why I would rank Anand higher. He had to compare the financials, compare everything, and such a pleasing style. Anand had such a pleasing style. With that style, he was able to win so many games, beat so many top players. Kramnik was no joke, Topalov was no joke, Kasparov was no joke as well. He was there till 2005. The reason Anand could not dominate was because of Kasparov and the fact that Carlsen and Kasparov were separated by only 5 years. In those 5 years, Anand was the best player. So, with all these considerations, Anand would definitely be, it's not a rapid fire answer, but I hope the audience understands. Anand is definitely one of the greatest of all time, at least top 3. Okay, I will not settle for anything less than top 3. In my view, he is the greatest of all time because see the circumstance he had to fight, see the achievements he has made. He has won every single chess tournament that was ever played. And he did this without any machinery support. Sadly, India never supported Anand when it mattered the most. Whereas Soviets, how many seconds Karpov had, how many seconds Kasparov had, how many seconds Spassky or somebody had, we know, right? Now we read it in the books. Anand had nothing. Still he went to the very top. And he is the sole reason if India is booming as a chess country today, with all due respect to the other GMs who came after him, even they will agree with me for sure. Anand is the sole reason India is where it is today.
Yes, sir.
A whole chess-playing nation, the second most populous country in the world, is now a chess superpower because of Vishy Anand. Magnus Carlsen, I think, is a self-explanatory answer. He has been world number 1 since 2011, and he has been 4-time world champion, so definitely one of the greatest of all time. But I still don't, until 2018 at least, there was no spark in his game. Like, for example, I teach intermediate students. Some of them might be watching this. If I show them a Carlsen game, they'll ask me, sir, what's great in this game? It's a good game, accurate game, but there's nothing special. That he changed in 2018-19, and he has now become, definitely he has the potential to be one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest. I am no one to judge all these players, just an analyst, but this is my opinion, that Vishy Anand, Garry Kasparov, Magnus Carlsen, Bobby Fischer are tied at the greatest, because you can't just put one player there. No, like now Nadal and Federer have equal slams, but you cannot say Nadal is greater than Federer just because of head-to-head, right? It's not just head-to-head. Federer has more Australians than Nadal, more US than Nadal, more Wimbledon than Nadal. Nadal dominated one surface. He's the greatest clay court player in the history of the game, we can say without doubt, because 13 slams, nobody's going to win.
Yeah.
Literally nobody. But this is the point I'm trying to make. So I hope it answers your question. It's a very detailed one, but I had to explain because it's a very controversial question, right? If I just say these 4, people will start laughing. Vishy Anand, nobody takes an Indian seriously, especially Westerners. No Westerner takes any Indian seriously. Sad part is even Indians don't take Indians seriously. I think this attitude has to change.
I was reading some of your, fight with other Facebook, not fight, but okay. And also I was seeing your tweets and all, so I just wanted to ask. So that's all. So anyway, we'll end the rapid fire section here and also the stream. So I think it was very educational, especially about the correspondence chess and also about engines. You explained all the technical details of an engine, and you recommended a lot of stuff as well. So thanks for sharing your knowledge, Tanmay. I hope audience also learned a lot, and good luck to your chess career. I don't know what else, like correspondence career, what your teaching career. I don't know, the list goes on, right? So good luck to all of those things.
Thank you, Karthik. Thanks for having me here, and you are doing a brilliant job. Forget about the number of subscribers, forget about all those people, okay? What matters is you are doing what you like, and you're doing it so well.
Thank you.
So just a minute, I'm really sorry. 5 minutes bartinchi. Just 5 minutes. Sorry. 5 minutes bartinchi. Yeah, sorry, it was this bike guy. Really sorry for this. I had 3 interruptions. I didn't want to have any.
Yeah, no problem.
But I just hope you found it informative, and sorry if I was not specific, because like I said, specific is a very difficult thing to do.
No, you shared a lot of your knowledge and even some of your secrets, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm happy you put me in the Secret of Success group. It was a fun session interacting with you. I just hope the viewers had as much fun as I did, and well, all the best to you too. I mean, I'm hoping for the day when you reach 2.7 and make us all proud.
Thank you.
We are after all from the same coach, right?
Yeah.
Like even if it was for a short term. So fellow students, so wishing you luck, and thanks all the guys who were here. It really means a lot that you were able to watch this live. To my family, to my friends, to all the people, to Niranjan, Sankalp, all of you who tuned in today. I want to thank you a lot for this. And for people who still disagree that Anand is not in the top 3, well, I just hope that your chess understanding improves enough for you to eventually understand this. Or please book a session with I am Shivananda BS. He will explain exactly why Anand is top 3. And after that, he will never have any doubts. Thank you, and see you soon. Please take care and stay safe, all of you.
See you soon. Bye.